Moya's an interesting character, man. I just love the fact of, like, you could probably argue the most of the conversation between her and Chika and her and Kaguya towards our lovable president was pretty wholesome, all things considered, but I love the fact that as that section of the episode ends, there's like these little thought bubbles that pop up, one of which is like, I wonder what she would think if I told her I slept with her brother, and I'm like, god damn, this show ain't playing around with the horniness this week. I mean, from erotic horror, the holy shit, that haunted house was something else. Not only was it actually, like, legitimately terrifying, the way they got the audio was far more sexual than I was expecting. You have the accidental confession with you, doesn't know what he did, but my man might have actually cemented the boldness in her heart that might give him that victory push. She was definitely flustered by that, and I mean, good for him, even if he thought she just liked the cookie and he didn't realize that the heart shape giving someone a heart during these days kind of goes a long way. But what an incredible episode, man. This festival is living up to the hype. Let's go in order. First things first, haunted house. One, visual and actual, like, scary design that they went for was really well done. I love the fact that because of time constraints, they weren't able to technically finish what they were planning to begin with, but in return, that time constraint made a much more effective haunted house, because, honestly, what they were doing was good. It was working. The scissors, cutting off the ears. It was actually a spooky-looking haunted attraction. But eventually, those kind of grow stale. They kind of lose their touch. I know, going through haunted houses myself, you know, initially if it's just visual and maybe sounds outside of your own eardrums, like not something playing directly inside there, eventually you start to not feel as spooked. So by having that time constraint, putting them in a locker together, of course, sometimes putting a couple in a locker ends up, they end up fooling around, and who knows what might have happened had they not been exposed sooner rather than later. But I love the fact that it actually kind of blue balls as my boy, because he was trying to take her into the attraction, but males and females got divided there. But it was nice to see, because even though they went pure on horny with, you know, recording her ears, which is really smart in terms of making a horror attraction. So you're blindfolded, you have these earphones in, and then ultimately because you record it on a person, you can really get that sense of it feels like someone's snipping at your ear, or in the case of some of the more intense moments, sucking on your ear. And you can tell that girl's been waiting to do that for some time. In terms of just pure entertainment, it was designed really well that you could actually say, I actually wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to walk through and experience that haunted house, which honestly I don't recall ever saying when it comes to anime. And school festivals and haunted houses, they almost always kind of coexist together, at least in earlier 2000s anime. And I've never really looked at him and said, damn, that's a really well-designed one. But I have to hand it to Kaguya-sama. They did a hell of a good job, not to mention the way they mixed the audio in this episode. If you were to listen with headphones, you're going to get a similar feel, which is pretty cool. I have to say, they went above and beyond something that could have just been an easy gag, but instead they went, as per usual with Kaguya-sama, above and beyond and to the moon. Now, in terms of the middle section, that was where I think the most fun, like pure chaos fun comes in, because Chika, you know, bless her heart, she's done wonders for this man, but when you see family saying they have a crush, the weighing fear of, I have to deal with him at school, could I imagine if he became a brother-in-law? I could not deal with being Mama Chika for that long, because she has dealt with the absolute extreme, and I thought this actually happened when he got hit in the face with his juggling things, but instead, the fact that he excelled and everything that happened afterwards just made him seem more appealing. This man is on his A-game, and if his luck in terms of doing things and having skills is anything to go off of, the only thing that could derail him in his confession is you going off the rails and both Kaguya and Miyuki not being able to admit to their feelings. But I thought it was great because, you know, similar to Hayasaka kind of getting it off her chest, I think she needed that moment as well. Chika is, in my opinion, the most fun character out of the cast, like just in terms of pure chaos fun. And the fact of just seeing, you know, her horny sister just lust after the president after everything she's dealt with over 3 seasons, it was pretty beautiful because I totally expected him to just fumble and she would still find it cute. Because everything she says, like, you know, he sucks at it, but he tries hard, you know, everything was just piling into him being a genuinely good person. But the fact that he actually excelled and for him not being too good at juggling means he can't juggle 8 things like his grandma was pretty fantastic. And then to just tie it together with the Yu storyline, I mean, Yu, fan favorite character, man. Like, his stories in general, whether depressing or on the upwards in terms of romantic, is fantastic. And it'd be interesting to see what they decide to do with this, right? Because I could see 2 very likely possibilities right now. One, she ends up admitting and saying, you know what, let's go out. Maybe eventually they break up. Maybe they last a long time and maybe they never break up. That could be a possibility, given, like, she was flustered by that for sure. And she very much was giving the impression throughout the episode like she wanted to spend more one-on-one time with him. So I think the feelings could be mutual there. Or 2, maybe she'll decide that it's better to stay friends. But I wouldn't be shocked if that happens if Yu isn't in a downwards, like, fall of depression, but rather he accepts it and moves on. Because if that's the case, you could see still Miyuki or Kaguya or both of them confessing still, because even though it's not romantic, it's not like he's depressed or anything, right? It's better to try and fail than to wonder what could be and never do anything, right? I mean, you could be denied 100 times in your life, but if you keep going, eventually you won't be denied. So I like the idea of where they're going with Yu's character, and given the 2 different possibilities I see that are likely, because I don't feel like it's going to be they either A, immediately get together and break up, or B, he gets denied and, is just depressed. I feel like it's either they'll be together for a bit, if not for a long time, or he'll get rejected and that will be okay, sort of a thing. I feel like that would be a good stepping stone for his character arc, given that he's trying harder with his grades, he's trying to turn his life around, and, getting rejected, as painful as it is, would be a very good learning curve for him as well, to know that it's not the end of the world and there's other fish in the sea, sort of a thing. Honestly, episodes like these just really go to show why Kaguya-sama is such a compelling show. Both with the visual and audio design, it goes completely above and beyond most series out there. But the fact that you can have 3 separate points in an episode and each of them are equally memorable. I could gush about that haunted house for an hour straight. I just love it. It is fun. It is insanely creepy and horny in ways I didn't know could be meshed so well in such a short amount of time. The Chica stuff is always going to be a blessing, and the fact that you sprinkle in her sister, who is definitely pretty extreme in her own ways, even if she keeps it a little more cool, calm, and collected at face value, and the fact that you're continuing to make Best Boy Yu continue to be so relevant, and the fact that he accidentally confesses and honestly, in return, that boldness and that confidence could be the reason he gets in said relationship, because the most negative thing about Yu is his lack of confidence, the fact that he looks at his feet, the fact that he believes no one will like him the same way he likes them, but the fact that he so boldly in the face of everyone confessed his feelings, that could be enough that sways her opinion from going, I really like him, but he seems a little too gloomy, to I really like him, and he's actually got a bit of confidence that was unexpected. Like, it could work in his favor. Either way, Kaguya-sama hits it out of the park. It's a home run episode, as per usual. It'll be exciting to see what's going to happen in the coming episodes. It was nice to kind of see Kaguya have an unexpected, sisterly kind of love with, talking about the president after starting off as such a horror villain. I was like, oh god, are we gonna have a slasher flick now? But damn, what an episode. Thoughts if you have any, though, down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.